Hello everyone. Since ages, an atom has been creating a great curiosity among scientists of all time. By about 1890 or so, it was clear to most physicists and chemists that matter is composed of atoms and electrons were the first of the building block particles to be discovered. The first model of an atom was proposed by English physicist J.J. Thomson in 1898. According to this model, the positive charge of the atom is uniformly distributed throughout the volume of the atom and the negatively charged electrons are embedded in it. If you think of an atom as a plum pudding, then the pudding was considered to be positively charged and the plums in it as negatively charged electrons. Or if we take watermelon as an example, the red part of the watermelon is positively charged and negatively charged electrons are embedded in it like its seeds. This model, as it looked, was called plum pudding model of the atom, which was named after a popular dessert of that time. Later, the discovery of the atomic nucleus showed that the distribution of electrons and positive charges are very different from that proposed in this model. But the plum pudding model of the atom raises an interesting conceptual question. A neutral atom has a total electric charge of 0, so the negative charge of the electrons must be exactly cancelled by the positive charge of the pudding. Hence, an atom must contain an exactly measured amount of positive pudding. But how that could be done was not clear. To learn more about positive charge in the atom, physicists studied how atoms collide with other atomic scale particles. Ernest Rutherford, a former research student of J.J. Thomson, was engaged in experiments on alpha particles emitted by some radioactive elements. In 1906, he proposed an experiment of alpha particle scattering by atoms in order to investigate the structure of an atom. Later, he suggested his young research students Hans Geiger and Ernst Marsden to perform this experiment. Marsden was an undergraduate student who was just 20-year-old at that time. They carried out this experiment in 1911. They arranged for alpha particles to collide with a thin sheet of gold atoms. The foil is made as thin as possible so that an alpha particle is scattered by only one nucleus. The reason why they used gold metal is that gold is the most malleable metal and can be made into thinnest possible sheets. The scattered alpha particles can be detected because they emit light when they hit the fluorescent screen. At that time, it was known that alpha particles were emitted spontaneously from certain radioactive materials, but the details of radioactivity were not understood. But now, much is known about the alpha particles. An alpha particle is a fast moving packet containing two protons and two neutrons. It is identical to the doubly helium and is positively charged. Its mass number, that is the total number of protons and neutrons in its nucleus, is 4 and has an electrostatic charge of +2. Alpha particles are ejected spontaneously from nuclei of radioactive elements and low penetrating power and a short range, that is, they can travel only a few inches through air and they can be easily stopped with a sheet of a paper. Before Rutherford's work, few experiments had shown that alpha particles behave as simple atomic scale bullets when they collide with an atom. Rutherford's idea was to fire these bullets at an atom and study how atom is put together using his knowledge of collisions and conservation of momentum. He expected that the relatively massive alpha particles would pass freely through the plum pudding atom. For example, imagine that a car is an alpha particle and ball is an electron. If there is a collision between the car and a ball, then car is negligibly deflected because the momentum of a car is much larger than the low mass ball with same velocity. Therefore, an alpha particle should easily pass through the wall of the pudding because the pudding was supposed to have very small density compared with an alpha particle. When they carried out the experiment, they found that the alpha particles did indeed pass freely through the atom, but they found that a small number of alpha particles were largely deflected. Few even bounced back directly towards the source of the alpha particles. This surprising result could not be explained by the plum pudding model. Rutherford surprisingly said that it was almost as incredible as if you fired a 15-inch bullet at a piece of tissue paper and it came back and hit you. Now, let's see the schematic arrangement of the Geiger-Marsden experiment. They directed a beam of 5.5 megaelectron-volt alpha particles which were emitted from bismuth, which was the radioactive source, at a thin metal foil made of gold. The emitted alpha particles were collimated into a narrow beam through lead bricks. The beam was allowed to fall on this thin gold foil of thickness 2.1 into 10 raised to minus 7 meters. The scattered alpha particles were observed through a rotatable detector consisting of zinc sulfide screen and a microscope. The scattered alpha particles produce brief light flashes or scintillations when they strike the screen. These flashes may be viewed through the rotatable detector with the microscope. Note that some alpha particles had large angle scattering, some had small angle scattering, and only 1 in 8,000 or so had backward scattering. The distribution of the number of scattered particles is studied as a function of angle of scattering in a given interval of time. In this graph, dots represent the experimental data points and the solid curve is the theoretical prediction of Rutherford's nuclear model based on the assumption that the target atom has a small, dense, positively charged nucleus. We can clearly see from the graph that the theoretical prediction, which is the solid curve, is in good agreement with the experimental data represented by dots. Geiger and Marsden made few observations during the experiment. They observed that most of the alpha particles passed through the foil without any deviation. That is, the alpha particles passed through the foil directly in a straight line path. The next observation was that only about 0.14% of the incident alpha particles were scattered by more than 1 degree. Assume that there are 5,000 scattered alpha particles. Then only 7 of them will deflect with an angle greater than 1 degree while passing through the foil. Deflection of more than 90 degree was observed only in about 0.0125% of the incident alpha particles. That is, only 1 among 8,000 alpha particles will deflect more than 90 degree. These were only the observations made by Rutherford, Geiger and Marsden. We shall see the inferences or the conclusions based on this experiment, followed by few expressions related to the alpha particle trajectory in the Rutherford's gold foil experiment, also commonly known as Geiger-Marsden alpha particle scattering experiment, in the next lecture. Thank you. Bye.